Two phones, very similar, the OnePlus 3 and the OnePlus 3T, but all I really care about is my tea right now. I can use these later. I don't want to make a video about this, Hutch. I just want to drink tea and use these things. So, we'll go through this quickly. What do you want to know about? There's not much that's new. It's almost the exact same body and style. The tiny little bump on the back. They've made the gunmetal gray a little bit darker, I guess, on the back of this. This one has a lighter color gray on the back, and I've got a wooden thing on there. But the covers for both fit. They're almost the same exact phone. So I'll focus on the 3T here. On this side, we have one of my favorite little buttons. It's a button that changes your notification settings. It can go from like silent to only priority notifications to all notifications, just with the switch of a button. Hardware button for that. Interesting. Then we have our volume right here. And on the other side, we have our power, and just beneath this case here, we have a slot that comes out, and you have dual SIM on this one. So why is there no SD? Guys, come on. I know dual SIM is cool and all that stuff, but I've been screaming for SD. And in order to, I guess, appease just me, they've upgraded the memory from 3264, like you could pick on the old one, up to 128 gigabytes. And most people are like, I don't ever need more than 128. And I'm like, all right, maybe, but the OS takes up a good chunk of that, and then there's other stuff, and then there's junk. I want all of it. So I mean, really, it's got 128 under the hood. If you guys want to see how fast this is overall, here's a couple benchmarks we ran. We ran Antutu, and you guys can see the scores there on the screen. And then we also decided to run 3D Mark, and you guys can also see the scores versus the OnePlus 3. But still, I want an SD card slot so I can put 2 terabytes in there and just be happy. The cover on this. The face cover that comes with it, all the way to the edge. Whereas with the old one, the cover that comes on it doesn't go all the way to the edge. So your fingers, it's just nice for your fingers. Wonderful. All right, so the cameras on the back here, we have the same Sony type camera here, and it's 16 megapixels. It's f2 and has the the phase detection autofocus. So the camera on the back is pretty decent. It's okay in low light, not amazing. f2 is pretty decent for that. But there are better cameras out there with some of the more expensive phones, like the Samsung does have a better camera, in my opinion. On the front here, they've upgraded to a 16 megapixel, and this is a Samsung camera on the front. Now, what's interesting is, I don't know why you need that many megapixels for a front-facing camera. Do you want to blow up pictures of your selfies and put them on the wall, you vain son of a... So that's what's on the front here, and I'm going to let you guys see side by side, because I am really not sure that more megapixels is better. It's a higher number, but the clarity of the old one was really nice. So take a look at these pictures side by side, and you guys can be the judge. All right, they've upgraded the Snapdragon processor from the 820 to the 821, giving you a little bit more horsepower. It's 2.35 gigahertz. It feels super snappy. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the NAND flashes a little bit faster, but having the faster processor is also nice. On top of that, we have 6 gigabytes of RAM, and there's no weirdness out of the box like we had in the first time with the old one. They're trying to disable it because it's eating too much battery. But no, you've got 6 gigabytes of RAM, which is like multitasking heaven. You can have so many things open at the same time. Also have a newer implementation of the OS while we're talking about what's under the hood. It's 6.0.1, and they're going to be upgrading to Nougat very soon, which is Android 7. They've promised that, so I'm going to withhold all my stuff about the OS until then. I expect a few things. Some people are complaining that some of the shortcuts and stuff are in different spots or maybe not there. But I find this to be a decent, clean version of Android with lots of options, lots of features, and I always run a launcher on top of this. So that's just me, but the 6 gigabytes of RAM is probably one of my favorite things about this phone. You can just do so much at the same time, and it never seems to slow down, whereas with other phones, if you have 20 apps open, you're like, oh, what's wrong with my phone? Not happening with this one. Screen, AMOLED, same as the other one. Looks nice. Not quite as bright as an OLED, but it's the next best thing. The battery on this, they have upgraded that as well, which makes me very happy. 3,000 milliamp hours on this one, and it was very efficient, and it could last all day. This one's 3,400 milliamp hours, so you can run around through a couple different airports if you're having connecting flights and use this thing and not need to run and find a plug somewhere. Have you ever been through that? Where the hell's the plug? I don't know. Not in this airport. They don't have any. Where are you? Some third world country like Pennsylvania? All right, I'll tell you about the display and the graphics card. First off, the graphics card is the Adreno 530, snappy, let you play all your video games and that sort of thing. Not much you can throw at this that it won't play. Now, as far as the screen goes, we have 401 pixels per inch. As far as the pixel density goes, it's 1920 by 1080. Pretty much the same as the old one. Just a very light refresh on this. Also, we've got Gorilla Glass on the front of this. Gorilla Glass 4 from Corning. So there's that. Was it worth it to upgrade? You know what? This is the phone it should have been in the first place. The first phone that came out Yeah, 64 gigs is cool. Very nice specs, very clean, very sleek. This with 128 gigabytes of memory and the bigger battery is a true step forward, whereas this one was maybe a baby step forward. So they're going to be phasing out the OnePlus 3, and they're going to be phasing in the OnePlus 3T. So they're not making any more OnePlus 3 models. You're just going to get this one, and it's going to be the daddy. I just wish it had an SD card still. It's USB Type-C on the bottom, but it's not USB 3 Type-C. It's USB 2 Type-C, but the transfer speeds are still pretty good. And then we have combo headphone and mic jack on the bottom there to round out the entire phone. Suck it, Apple. Also, let's talk about dash charging for just a minute. So they give you a proprietary cable and a proprietary dash charger for the wall. It's not compatible with Qualcomm's Quick Charge or anything like that. If you're using the dash charge that is their own like branded thing, well, you're going to get super fast charging. It'll charge in just about an hour. It goes from like 0 to 60 in about 30 minutes, so it's super fast charging. They have some, precautions set, into the software to make sure it doesn't explode or catch on fire, because that's charging fast. The only problem with that is you have to have the cable and this little plug for the wall, and they're expensive. I lost one in a hotel. It was like $40 to replace it. Like, yeah. So they've kind of trapped you into an accessory ecosystem that they're creating, and I wish they would have just gone with the standard that Qualcomm has created, the new dash charge. I would have much rather gone with that, in my opinion, even though this might be a tad bit faster, maybe. But quick charge is standard that the entire industry is going to be using, and you're going to be unable to use. I mean, you still be able to charge it fast, but if you want the super fast dash charge, you got to use their stuff, and that's kind of weird for me. Anything else you want to know about? We got a Wi-Fi AB, G in, wireless AC. It's super fast. I mean, I was pulling the maximum at home. I was pulling 250 down with this thing. No problem. That's the maximum I can pull down. So I guess the other things we need to talk about, the fingerprint on the bottom of this thing is great. It's actually very accurate, and I used my fingerprint for almost everything to log in and out of my phone. So we got that on both phones. It's pretty much the same. Oh yeah, the vibration on this is pretty weak. I have no problems feeling it in my pocket. If you're wearing baggy pants though, you're probably not going to feel it. So the speaker on the bottom, it's only one channel. It's one speaker, but it's one channel. So if you're using this to jam or whatever, if you're watching YouTube videos on it, you're not going to get the full stereo effect. RAW image support is very nice with the camera, but both of them had that as well for being able to. It's nice to be able to take images with lots of data and then edit them in post. All right, we'll talk about the price just for a minute here, because I mean the price is going to go up and down. But at launch, it's a little bit over $400, and it does compete with a lot of the $600 and $700 phones out there on the market. It competes pretty damn well with those. So it's still sort of like their whole like flagship killer, like slogan that they've been using. Yeah, it still does compete with the flagships. But in that price range, there's competition nowadays. We've got Xiaomi making some stuff, out of China. You guys can get stuff in that price range that's pretty similar. But the fit and the feel and the finish on this one are why it's the phone that I use. If it had the SD card, I wouldn't be going back to any other phone like ever. But when they make one of these with a special SD card for me, or make one with one SIM and an SD card, I love it. Dual SIM is great for traveling, but SD is what I want. So I want my entire digital life in this little package. I don't want to have to carry around an MP3 player like an old weirdo. All right, guys, so let me know what you think about this phone. How does it stack up against the competition? Do you guys have any other ideas? Do you think it's worth the money? I mean, it's the one that I'm using currently, and so I do think it's worth the money, but let me know what you guys think, and what would you like to see changed on future phones from OnePlus. They're a decently small team, and they listen, so they'll probably even watch this video. So that's it, guys. My phone, you can't have it. Is there a pocket in this thing? Hey, there is. That was cool. All right, click on some stuff over there. We got new t-shirts. Do I have to... Marketing! Praise, thank you. Thank you, commenter. Social. Click on description for social media stalking. God, some of this stuff is done. Bye. Just click close. Now go watch our other videos. Discord.
Forums.
It's all a thing. I said social. All right, bye. Memory, and the bigger battery is a true step forward, whereas this one was maybe a baby step forward.